Hello everybody. If you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that it's because you want to learn how to write a song and you're expecting me to teach you how to write a song, but I'm going to start this video by saying that I can't. There's no one true way or method or formula to write a song. It happens differently every time, but what I can do is give you some tips and tricks and talk about my own process of songwriting. So my credentials for this are that I've been writing songs since I was like 7 or 8 and I'm 16 now. I've never really posted an original on here. I've posted one, I think, on TikTok, and it's not my best work, so you just have to kind of take my word for it that like I know what I'm talking about. So like I just said, there is no formula for writing a song. Like, it could happen differently every single time. What happens differently every time is how the idea comes to you, how you write the song, like the speed you write it, whether you write it on an instrument or not. So many things can be different about how you write a song. So that's why I can't really teach a single formula for writing a song, but I'm just going to be talking about my process and how it works for me. So typically a song starts with an idea, and whenever I get an idea, it usually just pops into my head, or it'll be because I read something or saw something and I'll be like, oh, that would make a good song title, that would make a good lyric. I wish I could show you guys. But whenever I see something where I'm like, oh, this would be really good for a song, I have this huge like note in my phone where the whole thing is just lyrics, and it's so long you could scroll in there like forever. There's all this stuff that I just don't use. So when you come up with a lyric or something, if nothing like usually follows it immediately, like if you don't have a melody or more lyrics coming after that, then I would just write it down and save it for later. But if something does keep coming, like if you're coming up with like a full verse or chorus after that original line, then I would just go ahead and sing that and just see where it takes you, because you don't want to forget what you're saying and then be like, oh, I had such a good song idea earlier, like why didn't I write it down? And so if I have just a little lyric idea, then it goes in that long note. But sometimes I'll see something where I'm like, oh, I could make a whole song out of just this one line, but I don't really have it right now. Then I'll make it its own note, and then I go back later and write the whole song. And having that huge list of song lyrics is a really helpful tool, because if you're ever writing on your own and you get stuck and you're like, oh, like I really can't think what to put here, you can go into that list and just like pick anything from there that you think fits the vibe of the song that you're going for and put it in there. So that's the way that my process usually starts. If I want to write but I'm stuck or I don't even know where to start, I'll go and I'll pick a title or a lyric and I'll come up with something to put as my first lyric, and then I just build everything off of that. Sometimes I'll write the chorus first because I feel like the chorus is really the main direction of where your song is going and what it's about, because sometimes I'll write the verse first and then I kind of write the chorus and they don't really go together, and then the whole song just kind of goes in all these different directions, which isn't really something I like to do because I like each of my songs to be concise and about a particular thing most of the time. And one tip I have that isn't something that I do but that I should is to write on an instrument, or like hear yourself like working through the song, whether that's on guitar or piano or a cappella, and you're like recording it into your voice memos. You should have a physical evidence of like the melody and the chords and everything that you're like working through with that song, because I have never like recorded my music ever if I wanted to like remember how a song went. And I've written so many songs. I think I've just developed a good memory because I can remember the melody for my songs almost all the time, and I write completely in my head. Like, I don't even sing it out loud to see if it sounds right. Writing on an instrument can really help you find that rhythm and that melody, and then keeping it in your voice memos can help you remember that for later. Like last night, for example, I wrote on guitar, which I don't do like ever, and that's really good because you won't have to put it onto an instrument later. Like, you already know the chords and the strumming pattern, or if you're playing piano, you know like what notes you're playing. And I think having that musicality to the song, whereas in my head it's just like poetry that kind of has like a melody to it, I think that really helps you like move forward with the song, because you know like how many syllables should be in this certain line. I hope everything I'm saying makes sense. I feel like it's all very like disjointed and I don't really know where I'm going with any of this because I don't have like notes or anything. So I hope like you guys are understanding. And then another tip for improving your lyricism or getting ideas is to listen to music, like broadening your palette and listening to new songs, because your music is always going to be influenced by other artists. And when you're stuck, sometimes it can really help to listen to a song and then you listen to a lyric or a melody and you're like, oh, like I can use this. Like I was listening to a Taylor Swift song the other day and I was copying down a song from my notes app into my notebook. I was listening to Guilty as Sin and the lyric is like, I kept these longings locked away inside a box. And I heard that and I was like, oh, like this sounds really good. I want to replace one of my lyrics. So I changed the lyric from like hidden to locked away because I thought that it sounded better. And that's what listening to other music can do for your own writing, because you can only go so far like entirely on your own, and you do need that other inspiration to come and like help you with your writing. And broadening your palette when it comes to music can also help you discover new genres and new styles of writing. And also it can give you like new topics to talk about, because when I started writing when I was younger, the only music I listened to was like what was on the radio and what like the most popular songs were at the time. So all the songs I really heard was like pop music that was like all the pop girls singing about like their relationships and their breakups and their boyfriends and all that. So that was the only music I knew. And at 8 years old, I obviously hadn't experienced any of that, but that was all the music I knew. So I was like, oh, this is the only thing that you can write about. And so all of my music was 8-year-old me pretending that I had like been in a relationship or I just got broken up with, and I was writing songs about that. And they were all like stereotypical like 2010s like pop music. But as I got older and I started listening to more music, and I was listening to music that I discovered and that I liked, I discovered that not all music is about that. Like you can write music about like your friends or your family or like your own life even. And that kind of like changed things for me, because I was like, oh, like I can write about so many things. And so that's just one example of what listening to more music does for your own songwriting. And then another major thing is that songwriting is a skill that can be developed, because anybody can write a song really. Like you just need to write words on a paper and make sure that like they rhyme and sound good together. Like that's so simple. But to get your lyrics to a point of complexity and understand like the musicality of it and all that, it takes practice. And again, understanding all that does come from your outside influences and listening to music and understanding music. So like I said, I've been writing for 8 or 9 years, and obviously my songs in my first decade of life were not that good. I would like to think that I have improved a little bit since then, but it really just comes from practice. And I have written so many songs that I think you kind of just eventually learn like what works and what doesn't, and you start to recognize patterns in your own songwriting and words that you like. So it really is like a practice and experience like makes perfect thing, because when you're practicing and you're listening to other music that inspires you, that's all stuff that like helps you become a better songwriter. And that's all the advice that I can think of just off the top of my head right now, because like I said, songwriting doesn't happen the same way every time, and there's no one way to get down the melody that you want and come up with the lyrics every single time. Everything that I've said is just stuff that works for me and stuff that I've learned after songwriting for almost a decade. And I do want to post some originals on here soon. Maybe if you guys want to see that, let me know. I hope that you were able to get at least something out of this video. Looking back on it, it all kind of sounded like a bunch of nonsense that I was just like spewing out. I've been talking for 15 minutes and I like don't even know how that happened. I feel like I said nothing, but I do hope this helped you, like truly. And remember to have fun. Music is supposed to be fun, songwriting is supposed to be fun. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. You can check out my music on TikTok, my covers and things, or on here. If you want to see more covers, I have a whole playlist of them. And I hope you guys enjoyed this and learned something, and I will see you with a new video very soon. Bye!